How do uniforms impact an individual's public perception? Uniforms are distinctive, unvarying outfits worn by members of the same organization in order to distinguish themselves from outsiders. Uniforms have been worn by workers and authority figures since the beginning of recorded history. For example, ancient Roman soldiers wore uniforms to denote their status. The first recorded instance of the school uniform was in 1552 at Christ's Hospital School in England. Though they are decreasing in popularity, many schools around the world still require uniforms today. According to a research paper published by the University of Chicago, humans evolved to form groups with those similar to them, ensuring their group survival. Uniforms have been important for human survival, for example, soldiers in a war, because they create a unified group. In the 2017 to 2018 school year, a poll conducted by the National Center for Education Statistics revealed that 20% of U.S. public schools required students to wear uniforms. A poll conducted by Payscale.com in 2017 revealed that 49% of American respondents had a mandatory dress code or uniform for their job. There are many positive impacts of uniforms. One is differentiating members of the group from outsiders. When workers wear uniforms, outsiders can seek them out for assistance. For example, children can locate a crossing guard by their reflective vests in order to cross the street safely. Uniforms can also create a sense of unity within the group. According to a ResearchGate publication, service workers from Hong Kong and the US reported higher rates of job satisfaction when they wore uniforms. One of the factors they reported was that they felt they created a unified environment and a sense of community with coworkers. Uniforms may also remove stress and distraction, especially in a school setting. Many people, especially teens, experience social anxiety regarding their appearance. Requiring uniforms removes the variable and can soothe decision-making anxiety. Uniforms can also limit exclusion or ostracism. One common argument in favor of school uniforms is that they remove the variable of personal wealth. Kids cannot be bullied for wearing cheap clothing if everyone wears the same thing. There are, however, many negative impacts of uniforms as well. One is forced conformity. Uniforms suppress self-expression and individuality. Institutions can restrict many important personal freedoms. For example, there are many instances of Muslim girls not being allowed to wear their hijabs to school because they don't fit the uniform, trans people being forced to wear uniforms that do not fit their gender expression, or women facing discrimination and stricter dress codes than men. Both negative and positive factors may impact perception of the uniformed person by either themselves or others who are outsiders to their uniform. One of these impacts on perception is the Pygmalion effect. One article published by the Bowling Green State University found that teachers had higher opinions of their students' academic potential when the students wore neat uniforms and obeyed dress codes. This creates a Pygmalion effect. The teacher will hold higher opinions of uniformed students, thus encouraging them to perform better and confirming their original assumption. Meanwhile, this disadvantages students who do not obey the dress code because their appearance is equated with their academic potential. Uniforms also impact how we perceive authority. Uniforms associated with high authority and social status, like police uniforms, grant the wearer instant authority. Many people blindly obey authority as a form of normative conformity. They follow the orders of authority figures to receive rewards and avoid punishment or social ostracism. This control can easily be abused. Here are some examples. In the Milgram experiment, participants willingly administered what they thought were painful electrical shocks because an authority figure told them to. Serial killer Ted Bundy dressed as a police officer or security guard so that victims would follow him to their abduction site, exploiting their trust of authority figures in order to do them harm. Thieves gained entry to the Gardner Museum by impersonating police officers. Obeying their authority, the guards broke protocol and let them enter, allowing the thieves to escape with millions of dollars of artwork. The reverse effect is also true. When people wear uniforms that denote a lack of authority or social status, like fast food, construction, or janitor uniforms, they often receive less respect from the public than they would otherwise. These uniforms denote people as workers, not individuals, which allows their customers to feel superior and like authorities themselves. Many interviews confirm this fact. James Colangelo, a fast food worker interviewed by ABC News, says a lot of the time they don't really see us as human beings. They see us as robots and that are just here to give them food, and that means they feel okay to sort of abuse us. My friend, who works at a grocery store, said that he felt uniforms exist to enforce conformity. One customer in particular often insulted the workers and treated them with a holier-than-thou attitude, though she was always respectful of her fellow customers and the manager, whose uniform signaled that he had more authority. All of these factors can have a severe effect on mental health. According to an article published by the National Institute of Health, school uniforms negatively impact students' psychological health, especially for girls, religious and ethnic minorities, poor students, and gender-diverse students. Uniforms limit self-expression and force societal norms onto students that may not match their personal values. They can be difficult for students from other cultures to adapt to and can prevent them from expressing their cultural or religious identity. Dress codes are more strictly policed for girls and can often lead to girls feeling sexualized or controlled. They can force trans students to wear non-affirming clothes. Uniforms can also be difficult for poorer students to afford. All of these factors can cause stress, social anxiety, and distraction from learning. What can we do? Be conscious of how someone's uniform changes your perception of them. Make sure to treat people wearing low authority uniforms, fast food workers, janitors, etc., with respect, the same way you would want to be treated. Don't assume that because someone wears a high authority uniform, like a cop or a doctor, that they have your best interest in mind. Be sure to think critically about the orders they give you in order to protect your own safety. If you are required to wear a uniform that makes you uncomfortable and you feel able to, advocate against it how you can. Thank you for watching.